Welcome back to Hardball. There's been a flood of activity in Congress ahead of next Thursday's showdown when Hillary Clinton testifies before the House Select Committee on Benghazi. Congressman Richard Hanna of New York State joins House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy and an ex-staffer on the Benghazi committee itself as the third Republican on Capitol Hill to openly acknowledge that the strategy of the Benghazi investigation is to simply take down Hillary Clinton's presidential candidacy. Here's what Congressman Hanna said just the other day.
Sometimes the biggest sin you can commit in D.C. is to tell the truth.
Yeah.
You know, and this may not be politically correct, but I think that there was a big part of this investigation that was designed to go after people. And an individual, Hillary Clinton, you'd like to expect more from a committee that spent millions of dollars and tons of time.
Well, 4 Americans died in Benghazi, but here's something worth noting. For the first time now, a Republican has blamed a fellow Republican for the deaths of thousands of Americans who were killed on 9/11.
When you talk about George Bush, I mean, say what you want, the World Trade Center came down during his time. If you look
Hold
at
on,
Sandy Hook,
you can't blame George Bush for that.
He was president, okay? Don't blame him or don't blame him, but he was president. The World Trade Center came down during his reign.
I don't know about that reporter that said you can't blame George W. Bush for something that happened on his watch. We'll see. Anyway, today the Benghazi committee plowed ahead with its work, conducting a closed-door hearing with one of Hillary Clinton's closest confidants, Huma Abedin. The committee's ranking member, Democrat Elijah Cummings, spoke to reporters gathered outside the hearing room. He denounced the Republican-led committee's work as an insult to the wishes of the victims' families.
They basically begged us. They said, do not make this a political football. We beg you. I mean, some of them with tears in their eyes. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that no matter how you look at it, when you have the #2 person in the Republican Party who comes forward, the person who makes hands with the Speaker, and the person who will continue to be, who was one step away from becoming the Speaker, to tell you that this is all about a taxpayer-funded political effort to derail the campaign of Hillary Clinton. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a problem.
Congressman Elijah Cummings of Maryland joins us now. Thank you, Congressman. Can you tell from the questioning if they think they have anything on Hillary Clinton today? Could you tell where they're headed?
I honestly do not know. I think they brought Ms. Abedin up. She is the vice chairman of Hillary Clinton's campaign now. And the interesting thing, Chris, is we still have not asked one question of the Secretary of Defense. We brought Sidney Blumenthal up. We've never talked to the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, you know, and so I'm not sure, and we've never talked to the head of the CIA. But yet still we'll bring in, I'm sorry?
That's important because it seems to me behind all the lyrics is this music out there they keep playing, which is somehow Hillary Clinton is responsible for the death of those 4 Americans. Somehow, during the reality of that tragedy, during those hours when word got to Washington they were under attack, she didn't do something she was supposed to do. And that's right. Why don't they ask the people that would know the answer to those questions if there was anything there?
But yet and still we are talking to Hillary Clinton's speechwriter, and anybody who's been close to her, by the way, have been paraded up to the Hill. And the Republicans have announced exactly what time and where their interviews would be. This happened with Cheryl Mills, Mr. Blumenthal, and Mr. Sullivan, who was the Deputy Chief of Staff. I mean, and anybody close to Hillary Clinton, this is the way they've treated them. And I got to tell you, when I listen to what Congressman McCarthy said, and then I listened to the Republican staffer who turned whistleblower, and by the way, he described himself as a conservative Republican, and then when I put it together with what Congressman Hanna said, all they're doing is affirming things that we on the Democratic side have been saying for months, that this basically is a derail Hillary Clinton campaign by any means necessary.
Well, here today on CNN, Hillary Clinton was asked about what she expects from next week's hearing, and here's what she said.
Other committees of the Congress, standing committees with very experienced members and staff, have all looked into this and basically just rejected the conspiracy theories that are still floating out there in some circles. So I really don't know. I will do my best to answer their questions, but I don't really know what their objective is right now.
Do you have any outstanding questions about the Secretary of State's conduct in those tragic hours yourself? Are there any questions worth asking if you had a legitimate committee?
No, the answer is I've read all of the reports, the 8 reports that were done previous to us starting the Select Committee, and I've heard the testimony, I've read the transcripts. I don't have any questions. One of the things that I'm hoping will happen is that after all the dust settles, that we will come up with a report that will make sure that we debunk a lot of the rumors that have been out there, because I think that's fair to the families too. And what has happened so often is there have been leaks by our Republican colleagues, but yet and still they do not put out the exculpatory information, which I think is very important, Chris, and I'm going to insist on that.
Well, catch this. Your committee chair, Trey Gowdy of South Carolina, lengthy statement last night dismissing that congressman from New York's statement who said there was nothing here but politics. There are 7 members of the Benghazi committee, Gowdy said, who are intimately familiar with the work of the committee, the motives behind the work and the results of that work. Congressman Hanna is not one of them. Well, let me just make this point, Congressman. They must have grabbed you that there's 12 members of your committee, 5 of you are Democrats, and he just basically cut you out of the action officially. He said you don't know what you're up to there. So he's admitted it's a partisan operation of just the majority members.
Well, I got to tell you, I was very surprised to hear that statement, because we have 4 very distinguished members of the Congress on this committee. They've been working very hard. And I'm just surprised that he would say that, but I don't know what that means.
Maybe the motives are shared by those 7, and they don't share their motives with you. It could be. Yeah. I mean, I wonder what. I think he gave it. By the way, I've been asked by everybody here to ask you. I think I know the answer. Are you running for the United States Senate, and are you willing to give up your seniority and position in the House of Representatives?
Well, Chris, I'm going to wait till after all of this Benghazi stuff is over with to make that decision. But I do not want to do what I think the Republicans have done, politicize and use this as a political stepping stone. I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to wait till after that, and I'll make my decision. I was very glad to see that although I'm not even in the race, I'm leading double digits, but that's a good thing. And I feel humbled, by the citizens of our state that they feel that way about me. Well, everybody's watching, sir. Anyway, thank you. U.S. Congressman Elijah Cummings of Maryland.